It's winter!
Yay! The first thing that comes to my mind when winter is mentioned is snow.
Snow that we never get to see because here in the tropic we ball during all the year.
But anyways, because I like winter and it's Christmas, or was Christmas while I was scripting this, I decided to make a special video, because who doesn't like special videos? So I present to you my personal top 10 favorite snowy/winter levels. This is my official first countdown, so it may have flaws, but trust me, I put a lot of effort into this. There's a couple of things I want to get out of the way first. I will only pick one level if the game has levels, otherwise I will pick one section. Per franchise, meaning that the rule of one game per franchise applies. The level has to have snow, of course, because it's the essential element to represent winter. And finally, only levels from games I have played. And remember, it is my opinion. You may have your own opinion and are free to say it in the comments, but please do not bitch about my video. So that's basically it, so let us start! Both Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends are perfect examples of how to do a 2D platformer. The level design is really creative, like seriously. Sometimes I say the people who designed this were on drugs when they did it. Anyways though, there's a level in Rayman Origins called Dashing Through the Snow, which was later remade for Rayman Legends, so I guess I can put both games here even if it's breaking the rules. It is pretty much the exact same level for both games. Moving on, the level design is really awesome. The stuff that appears in the background is really well made and fits the atmosphere perfectly. The enemies are really creative and damn fun to kick their ass. The mechanic of shrinking works perfectly, and that mosquito riding! Overall, it's just a great level to play, and you have to play it twice if you want to get the time trial electron. The problem I had though is the music. Neither of the two songs that play in this level really fit the atmosphere. Well, at least in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, they are both great songs, but it feels as if they are in the wrong level. But besides that, it perfectly fits the number 10 on my list. I really enjoy Kirby games, and the last one was no exception. Kirby Trouble Deluxe is a really fun game. Its level design doesn't differ much from the latest Kirby games, but it still manages its way of being creative with the new mechanics, one of such being the Miracle Fruit, which lets you eat basically everything. But let's leave that for another time. I'm here to talk about winter levels, so I'm gonna talk about the stage 5 of World 3 Old Odyssey. I chose this level over other ones in other Kirby games for a couple of reasons. In the first place, the design of the background is just outstanding, and along with the soundtrack it makes a perfect setting for a winter themed level. In second place, the level has a mini-boss. It's not exactly winter themed, but still mini-bosses are quite fun and a step up for a challenge for people playing the game. And finally, the third and most important reason. With the new Kirby power-up, the Miracle Fruit, the developers made some interesting stuff in this level, like for instance, pulling a snowman or a snow woman ahead until it reaches their main body to complete the snowman. This is not necessarily the most fun part of the game, but it isn't as tedious as the last level before the final boss. That level!
It's surprisingly boring!
Also, at the end of the level, we see the developers recreated the Three Little Pigs short story, with some Waddle Dees representing the pigs and Kirby representing the wolf. Even if it doesn't have anything to do with the season, it was still a nice touch. Sadly, I have not played the Holiday Hair expansion, which is the Christmas themed levels of Just Rabbit. The reason being that I can't get it to start. Since it's an MS-DOS game, I need an emulator and it's quite hard for me to get it started. Leaving that out of the way, I did play the first Just Rabbit game, and I really enjoyed it. There are a couple of winter themed levels and I chose the second level of Nibius. The reason is due to it being longer than the first one. The enemies are pretty winter themed if you ask me. Evil Snowman of Doom, penguins that skate and turtles with Christmas hats that also skate. Also, the items that you can collect through points are caramels and ice creams, perfect for winter. Another detail to point out is that when Jazz stays still, he shivers, and I think that was a cool feature added by the developers. Now, let's move on to the soundtrack. The music of the game is outstanding in general, and this level is no exception. It just fits perfectly with the atmosphere and the style of gameplay. Just Rabbit is a pretty fast-paced platformer, and thankfully, the music in this level just fits perfectly with the style of the game. So here it comes, the first winter section from a non-platform game. Tales of the Abyss is an outstanding game overall, my personal favorite in the series, and hell, the developers chose a really good and atmospheric place for Luke's emotional events to develop. So you're halfway through the game and come across this winterish city called Kerrburg. This place is really important plot-wise, and it's a place where a lot of the things of the story reach light. Here, it is revealed to Luke that Jade was the one who invented Fomicry, which is a type of replication process and is used, surprise, to create identical physical copies of something or someone. You discover a lot of things about Jade, but I'm not spoiling more of it. Moving on, the design of the city is pretty good, and the music effectively fits the atmosphere. The city's dialogues are often funny, but it still has its emotional moments. There's not much I can say about this place without spoiling the story, but if anyone has played Tales of the Abyss, they'll probably agree with me that Kerrburg is one hell of an important place within the story, and that's why it gets the number 7 spot on my list. You probably expected a Mario level to be in this list. I mean, there's all sorts of cool snowy levels throughout the Mario universe. There's for the 3D games, there's for the 2D games, there's for the sport-based games, and there's for the racing games. My number 6 spot goes to Mount Wario from Mario Kart 8. There are a lot of snowy tracks in the Mario Kart series, but I think this one is the most fun and creative of them all, followed by, honorable mention, Donkey Kong Summit from Mario Kart Wii. The characters start at the top of a mountain and slowly make their descent until they reach a certain point of the mountain, which is marked with the finish lap. When the track starts, there's a lot of ice, which can make the controls a bit hard to control, but that's the purpose of it, so it's cool. Then they go into a cave and glide over a river that miraculously isn't frozen. Then there's that part of the race I don't understand. Oh, maybe it's a dam, well, I don't know. Moving onwards, there's a division of paths where you only take one and you insist it's the fastest even though it isn't. After that, those damn trees! And then, the track makes an epic build-up for the end of the race, where you hear the crowd getting wild and celebrating because you got 10th place! Yeah! Anyways, the track is memorable because of its incredible design, and because it skips the formula of the 3 laps. Well, kinda. And leaves us with 3 checkpoints, so instead of repeating the race, you do it just once, and that's really cool. There's a lot of snowy locations in the Pokemon franchise, but the one I remember the most is Snow Point City from Pokemon Diamond, probably because of how stupidly annoying its gym is. But anyways, let's leave the gym for later. First, I should talk about the design and its role in the story. The city is located in the far north of the Sinnoh region, and as its name states, it is covered in snow.
Of course!
The design is rather simple. A couple of houses, a gym, a Pokemon Center, a Pokemart, and the Snow Point Temple. The Snow Point Temple is a 5-floor structure which is home of Regigigas. The snow that covers the city and routes 216, 217 and Acuity Lakefront falls due to it blowing from Mount Coronet. Both songs that play perfectly fit the setting. They feel lonesome and cold, and perfectly describe the city as it is. There's not much to it other than being the home of the 7th gym, so let's talk about the gym now. It only has one room with one big hard puzzle, and trust me, it is a hard puzzle. It is the main reason why I don't like the gym. The puzzle of the Snow Point Temple is also hard, but is not obligatory, while the gym's puzzle is. Anyways, the gym leader Candice is a pretty decent boss. She has a Snowbird, a Sneasel, a Medicham, not sure why since it's not ice type, and an Aboma Snow. It is not that hard, but the battle is entertaining, so the puzzle is not a waste of time. And hey, you get a medal! Overall, I like the city because of the setting, and there's just something special about it that makes me put it on the number 5 spot. Oh yeah, there was something special about this, an event called the Diamond Dust. In the year 2008, during some dates, the snow that falls in the city was replaced with diamond dust, a weather effect that was just called like that. The dates were special in some way. For instance, the first date was January 12th, which is the developer's birthday. This also happened in the next Pokemon games, but it was with Diamond and Pearl that this event started. It was a great idea and it gave a purpose for people to go back to the city and see this rare event, and that's why it's number 5 on the list. Crash Bandicoot is one of my favorite franchises, and conveniently enough, it has a nice number of snowy levels. From Crash Bandicoot 2, which is full of snow and trust me with that, to Wrath of Cortex, which was really cool but is hated because of its stupidly long loading screens. Anyway, the number 4 spot is actually for the Slip Slide Icecapades in the open world platform game Crash to Insanity. Let's start by saying that this level has one of the most hilarious opening scenes in a video game. I mean, that kick in the butt is just so damn funny. With that said, let's move on to talk about the level itself. There's not much mystery to this. In fact, you only have to use Cortex as a snowboard to go down a mountain and reach the engine section. Even if it's a simple concept, its execution was really nicely done. First, you start listening to that soundtrack while you are warming up, doing some jumps and stuff and admiring the outstanding level design. Then you get to see kamikaze penguins with rockets on their backs that basically try to tell you that this is going to be a real fast-paced level. And then the soundtrack just reaches its climax while you enter a chicken house. And after you get out, you see yourself being chased by those penguins, and hell yeah! It gets your blood all fired up. And the best thing is that it's not over yet. Eventually, you'll reach Molin Cortex, which is a chick's house, and you hear a really funny short dialogue. After that, you just continue sliding and find yourself wanting some more action, and you get a quick response for the game, dropping some giant stalactites that try to kill you from the ceiling. After quite some more sliding, you're starting to think that this level is over, until you become a snowball after tripping with Cortex, and a snowball that constantly gets bigger with the more snow it collects, and sadly, this section doesn't last very long and eventually the level ends. But it wouldn't be a proper ending without a hilarious cutscene, where Dingodal's house just gets utterly destroyed by the snowball, and Cortex finds itself humiliated under the cold snow. So yeah, that's basically what the level is about. I chose it over other section and level of the franchise because of how hilarious it is. I mean, who wouldn't like to ride Cortex down a mountain? Exactly! Everyone would like to. That, and because they took the idea from other Crash games like riding a tiger, riding a polar bear, and riding an actual snowboard, and perfected it here. The controls are near flawless, and it makes an epic level to remember. Spyro 2 Riptos Rage is a game I really enjoyed. In fact, it is in my top 10 favorite games, a list I have yet to make. There are a couple of worlds that could have made it into this list, but I finally chose the home world Winter Tundra. Why did I choose this level over the other ones in the game? I mean, Colossus, you could play hockey. In Crystal Glacier, you could release the Eskimos chief with a giant snowball. And in Icy Speedway, you could just fly and relax. Actually, no, you can't relax. You have to do a series of stuff within a time limit, and oh my god, those rings! Those rings! I chose Winter Tundra because it's the homeworld to a series of levels which I love, including Metropolis, which is one of my favorite levels, and Canyon Speedway, which is probably my favorite speedway, ironically enough, after Icy Speedway. It is also a homeworld to one of the best bosses in the whole Spyro series, Ripto. Now, enough of talking about other levels. Winter Tundra is a place where you just wanna stay. It feels comfortable, well, at least for me. Maybe because of the music, it just feels so magical and beautiful, totally contrasting the coldness of the level. There are a total of 3 orbs and 400 gems in the homeworld. The orbs are pretty well hidden and you'll have to search all around the homeworld until you eventually find them. Not that spending time in the homeworld is a bad thing. Imagine yourself having 39 orbs and you just want to finish the game, and then you see this last orb you need in order to open Riptos' door in the Winter Tundra homeworld. That should be happiness, right? Until you realize that in order to open the Dragon's Shore's door, you have to collect 55 orbs. Anyways, if you want to unwind and relax, just explore to see what glitch hasn't been discovered yet, you'll probably think on going to Winter Tundra. I never actually finished Banjo-Kazooie, and I'm not sure why, because it is a fantastic game. I did reach the FCC peak, though. This level is basically Christmas. There are presents, there's a giant, and I mean a giant snowman, there's a big Christmas tree, and there's presents to give and some jiggies to receive. In this level, there's a handful of things that you are able to do, so I'll take a challenge. I'll explain everything you can do in this level in less than 50 seconds. So, 3, 2, 1, go! The first thing is to enter an igloo where you see about 3 polar bears who are missing their presents, and logically Banjo and Kazooie go and get them back. You protect some Christmas light bulbs from some hungry crocs. You fly through the biggest star of the Christmas tree and then you go inside the tree. Kazooie learns the big bomb move. You press the 3 buttons of the biggest snowman with Kazooie's new move. You kill some evil snowman. You transform into a walrus and get a jiggy from just being a walrus. You climb the ridiculously big snowman. You do skating combined with bobsleigh to get a jiggy out of a fat polar bear belly. You race on a sled against the polar bear and getting the ice key. Okay, maybe with cheating. Maybe. Anyways, that's pretty much everything. The music goes perfectly with the setting, and the level design is just so damn creative and so damn good. The reason this isn't number 1 is because this is a list of winter themed levels, not a Christmas themed level list. There is a winter themed level I like more than FCC Peak. Before moving on to number 1, let's recap. In number 10, Dashing Through the Snow. Number 9, Old Odyssey Stage 5. Number 8, Nepius Stage 2. Number 7, Hetterburg. Number 6, Mount Wario. Number 5, Snow Point City. Number 4, Slip Slide Ice Capades. Number 3, Winter Tundra. Number 2, FCC Peak. And now for number 1. Okay, no, I haven't played this. The number 1 spot actually goes to Wet Gear from Okami. This is it, where Amaterasu begins the end of her quest, and sadly is the beginning of the end of the game as well. The art of the game is beautiful and Wet Gear is no exception. And damn, that music is just so damn epic, so lonesome yet it brings hope, the hope that Amy needs. The music is just perfect. But enough of that, and let's start talking about the section itself. Wet Gear is the home of the Oina tribe, and let's say the action starts when Amy meets Samiko, which is the top warrior of the Oina tribe. Oh, yeah. And he doesn't greet you in an ice wave, and pretty much kicks you out of the village. Right when you're exiting the village, Kai meets you and gives you information about the twin demons Leku and Neku. She says that when they went berserk, the blizzard started up on the village. Anyways, the whole point is to rescue Luca, the younger sister of Kai, because she's the key to saving Kamui. And actually, I refuse to keep spoiling about so precise details about the story. So go and get the game, it's worth every penny. Anyways, let's just say the village is the setup for the end of the game, and in those final quests, at least I feared that the game would end because of it being so good. The reason for it being my number 1 pick is precisely because of it being the beginning of the end of a beautiful game. I'm sorry I cannot talk more about the village, because I would completely spoil the story, but trust me when I say that WebKir totally deserves being the number 1 spot on my list. Thanks for watching and see you in my next video.